Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vancouver by Night channel. Welcome to the Take This charity weekend. Welcome to Don't Rest Your Head. I am Zachary Vowder. I'll be game mastering this for this evening, and I have 4 more people that wanted to go along on this wild adventure with me into the nightmare world. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching as well, and thank you for donating. There will be a Tiltify link in the sidebar going throughout the entire thing. I believe this channel is over halfway to its goal at large. I know that we're doing much more than that, so keep on donating. It's for a very good cause. Take This aims to decrease the stigma and increase support for mental health in the game enthusiast community and inside the gaming industry. So very solid cause, one that I'm sure that we all are familiar with in some fashion or another. Before we begin the game, I'm going to go around and introduce our players to you. They'll be telling you who they are and who they're playing, and then I will open the veil. We'll start with KP.
Oh, all right. Hello, my name is KP. I go by KP11 Studios, and today I will be playing Rahul Khatri.
And now to Jerry.
Yo, what's up? I'm Jerry Law. I kind of just wandered into the building, and then Zach said, "Hey, you want to play a game?" Yeah, I'm playing Mason Halong.
And now Monica.
Hey everybody, this is Monica, and I've been sequestered into this game. And I'll be playing Lily.
And now North.
I've been threatened to be in this game, and I am here now. So, under my own will and testament, I am here, and I will be playing Adrian Blackwood.
And once again, I am Zachary Vaudo. I claim no responsibility for what is about to happen. Are the 4 of you ready to enter the game?
Yes.
Sure.
I'm looking at the guy with the gun
Maybe.
pointed in my head, so I think, yeah, that's. I think that's it.
Somewhere between the lines, in the veil behind the city slumbering, the world that you used to think was always there, is the Mad City. Origins unknown, depth unfathomable, where missing socks and broken toys go, where idle dreams and vicious nightmares grow. It's where the 13th hour on the clock went, and forgotten constellations fled when their gods died. Timeless, relentless, anachronistic, impulsive, long-lost concepts birth and thrive and twist and flourish. That door you thought you saw out of the corner of your eye opens into the Mad City. And every now and then, when the city's slumbering seems to swallow someone whole, it's because they stumbled through such a door. The labyrinth that is Mad City does not open for the sleepers. It only opens for the terminally awake, the insomniacs who cannot rest their heads. Just remember, if you find yourself inside Mad City, we suggest that you also don't rest your head. The denizens will have plans for you. They may want you to stay, and if they find you when the clock strikes 13, you may not have a choice. Twice now, we have followed a group of 4 terminally awake on their journey through the veil. And today, once more, 4 more step through the doors of perception and into the land of dreams and nightmares. But before we get into that, I'd like to get a sense of what each of them are up to in the city slumbering, in the real world. Raul, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What are you?
Rahul is a very demure, what was once a handsome man, now kind of gaunt looking. All these sleepless nights have kind of shrunken his face, shrunken his stature. He doesn't carry himself with the same confidence that he had a couple years ago anymore. He looks very tousled and unkempt, um, sagging eyes, like clearly lack of sleep. But even despite the tiredness, he just doesn't seem to be able to go to bed. His hair, which was nice and properly like barbered and shaved and to the sides and prim and proper, he would have his hair gelled up. The whole 9 yards is now um, growing at it's like that middle awkward stage of length where it's not quite long enough to look good, but not short enough to look good either. And it's clearly not been properly combed or washed, so it looks a little oily and just, you know, not that great looking. And you find him at this current moment, just came back from his long ass day at his dead end job that he hates, um, thinking about a business that he's been wanting to get off the ground, but has not had the gumption or the ideas on how to do so. And whatever attempts he's made has been ended up in either failure, or he himself has given up simply due to just lethargy, exhaustion, um, and uncertainty. And he's a little drunk, and you can see him just on his couch in the middle of his living room staring up at the ceiling while you have the TV on, just playing static in the background. It's late at night, but he's not asleep. And just no matter how much he drinks, it's to help him sleep.
So it sounds like what's on the surface for you very much mirrors what lies beneath. Raul is outwardly reflecting the internal strife that he is going through. And it sounds like what just happened to you is just one part of this journey that has been keeping you awake this whole time. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's one of them. Definitely, it's the root.
One of them.
Yeah, because of it, he's not really been keeping up with his relations. He doesn't have many friends anymore. All the ones that he used to hang out with probably have dropped off due to lack of any interaction from him. Um, the ones that do are at the cusp of dropping off. They kind of are slowly giving up on him, and it's more, it feels like, at least to him, out of courtesy and just as out of rote habit that they used to call at so frequently. Doesn't have any relationships, doesn't have anything else. He just can't seem to focus on any of it.
Can't seem to focus on any of it. I want to dig a little bit deeper, though. You said it's one part of it. When you get right down to the core of it, what has been keeping you awake all these nights?
I think it's for him just an assurance, trying to find out. He feels so unsure of himself. He doesn't know, you know, what he's doing is the path for him. He doesn't understand himself really. Um, he doesn't know if he wants to go one path or the other. And it feels like because of that, he's been rooted to the ground to where he is, where he can't even take a single step forward. He feels stuck. Despite friends and family telling him how lucky he is with his day job, how lucky he is with the life that he's supposed to be living right now with everything else. He's got a master's degree in science, master's degree in technology. He has a day job that should be paying him very well, but on top of that, the stress of having to be a part of it is just wearing him down. And he can't seem to explain himself to people why he's unhappy. He can't seem to explain to himself why he's unhappy, because he's like, I should be happy, I have all the things I should be having, and yet he's not. The passion he has for whatever the business he was planning on doing, he feels like he doesn't have it anymore. So now he doesn't know what he is. He doesn't know who he is, what he wants out of life, and he doesn't know how to express it.
And it's in that loss of self, that loss of direction, that loss of self-understanding and self-actualization that we find Raul returned home from this hopeful, maybe, attempt at getting a business off of the ground. You return home spent from the day, knowing that tonight's not going to look so great either. It hasn't been for some nights now. You know already that you're going to sit and reflect on everything that could have gone better, everything that should have gone better. Going to the kitchen to get something to consume while you're bored and unable to sleep, as one often does. When you see a glow behind one of the doors in your home, you don't think that you left a light on before you left, but at this point it's hard to tell. You're a bit scattered. Unfortunately, it's reflected outwards in your day-to-day. You very well could have left a light on, but you're pretty sure that the lights in your house all have that kind of yellowish glow. You haven't really switched over to the LED lights yet, and that's a very grayish blue glow coming from under that door. Is this something that you wish to look into or address?
I think he initially would ignore it, like almost as if though, great, that's one other thing on the list of things I need to do. Um, but at the same time, I think after a while, as he tries to ignore it, it's like a nagging feeling in the back of his head of what is that? What is that? What is that? What is it? I think part of it also is just it's new compared to the dreary road dredge that he's been a part of, where he just wakes up, goes to work, comes back exhausted. Most of the time, he doesn't even bother turning on lights. The only real light in his apartment or place that he's staying in comes from the TV that he has on that almost seems to be on 24/7. But that's it. There's really no other lights that he turns on. So to then see an extra light for him is odd. And so after a while, after it constantly nagging him, he probably would finally get up to go and check it out.
Something as simple as, did I leave a light on, changing the very routine of your day-to-day.
Yeah.
You head across the house to the door. The light is still on. It shimmers a little bit under the door as if something passed in front of it. Maybe you left a fan on as well. I assume that you opened the door to look into things.
Yeah. I think I might like just out of for some odd reason might yell out hello.
You are alone in this house, yes?
Yeah.
Then you know the answer that you get. Opening the door, you see the light in the dark room. You would think that something that was lighting up bright enough to shine through your door would light up the rest of the room, but you can't see anything else in the room, just this point of light. Trying the switch on the wall, it's not connected to that. You'd have to go address the light itself if you wanted anything to do with it.
I think he's just gonna stand there for a bit, just staring at it. Not even like because he's shocked or anything. It's just like this is another effort, an additional effort. Like he thought it was already an effort to turn off and use a light switch, but the fact that none of those are working for him, he's almost too lethargic and lazy to further investigate. But like unless something compels him to walk forward, he's probably just going to stand there just staring at it for a bit.
And the more you stare at it, the more focused you become on it, unintentional as it may be. You start to see more in the light, not more that the light is shining on in this room. You see more within the light. It's less of a light and more of a porthole that light is coming through. You can see shapes in the light. Shapes that definitely aren't in this room. You can't quite make them out yet. They're still hazed by the shine. But you can tell that there is something in the light.
I think when I start noticing that, it compels me to at least investigate further, kind of look closer at what this is. I think out of habit, he might try to take a picture of it on his cell phone.
Do you have the flash on or off on your phone?
Off.
Okay. You hold up your camera, your phone camera, you put it in front of your face. You zoom in, you still can't quite make it out, but as you zoom in, it gets just brighter on your camera, which fills your field of view as you look through it. You take the picture, phone comes down, and the scene in front of you is different. The scene in front of you is an alleyway, illuminated in a grayish blue haze of light. There's debris littered all over this alley. There's a open dumpster a little bit down the ways. There's a chain link fence that blocks off one side, and it's rather quiet and still. And as you look at this, you turn back around. You're faced with a brick wall, and in the brick wall, not immediately reachable to you, in about as distant as this light seemed to be to you when you looked at it, is the door that you just came through. And you watch it slowly close.
Hello? And you see him like trying to like tap at the wall and trying to reach out.
You tap at the wall and you feel your hand go into the wall. There's a perception trick happening here. You feel like you could reach the door, but it feels like it's too far away. You're pretty sure that you would either hit the door or hit the brick wall at this point, but you're doing neither.
I think he will try to initially attempt to make it back to the door if he can.
You take a step forward, your hand reaching towards the door, and your head comes into contact with the brick wall.
What in the hell? I'm gonna, and no other attempts. Any other attempts that I do, it just keeps hitting that brick wall.
You only seem to be able to reach for this door. You cannot achieve this door.
All right. I think he's just going to turn and try to just yell out, "Hello, hello! Is anybody here?"
And as your voice echoes out through the alleyway and bounces off the walls, out into the opening from the alley, let's see who might hear this. Lily, before you possibly hear this, where are you now? What's just happened to you?
Lily has just returned from a really bad day. She sits in her room with 5 paintings, rather large paintings, all like 2 feet by 3 feet, facing towards her, taunting her. And she has her phone in her hand and she's just finished replaying a voicemail from the gallery that she's been working so hard to get into, that has just told her that, I'm sorry, these just aren't good enough. And the tear tracks are running down her face as she's looking at each of these paintings and all the months and months of hard work that she's put in. Laughing at her, staring back at her, and she's contemplating just putting her fists through them, tearing at the canvases that have just been her torment for so long.
Understandably, it's incredibly difficult when you pursue a passion to receive that kind of rejection, especially when it's something as intrinsic to who you are as a person. We see the tear stains on the surface, but what else is on the surface? And more importantly, what is the surface hiding? What lies beneath that surface?
Lily would have had taken the time this morning to put on a brave face of makeup, doing her best to highlight her eye shape and the colors in her skin. You can see that she did a really good job this morning, but that too has been ruined. The mascara starting to run, the eyeshadow smeared, the eyeliner smudged, and what should have been nice, flowy, beachy curls are now just in a messy bun on her head, but not the kind of messy bun that you'd see in a perfect Instagram photo. No, this one's more like a bird nest. Her clothes are trying to look well put together, but you can see that the shirt is threadbare, that the jacket has some spots of paint that she just couldn't get out. And the facade of trying to look put together, if you look at it just a little too closely, as with some paintings, you can see that there's really not much to it there.
So what lies beneath is starting to come to the surface the more that the day has chipped away at it. Now, has this moment, this expectation of this moment, the preparation for this moment, been what's been keeping you awake? Has it been just the pursuit of art that's been keeping you awake? Or is it something more?
It's been the perfectionism. These paintings that are looking back at her, reflecting so many weeks of staying up, staring at them, fiddling with, tweaking. It's not perfect enough. It's not good enough. It's not the right color. It's not the right shape.
And
She
every
just couldn't sleep knowing that they're staring at her.
and every rejection just feeds that. Every person that tells you this isn't what we're looking for, this isn't good enough, just confirms what you have been feeling yourself and what you have been either telling yourself or fighting telling yourself again and again. And so, once again, another late night in the same place that you found yourself again and again. Except this time you're staring at your collected body of work, these paintings that aren't going anywhere, and you're wondering if maybe the change that you could make to them is one of destruction instead of creation. Which one do you go for first?
The self-portrait.
What do you do to your self-portrait to change it?
I drag a fingernail that the nail polish on has started to chip and drag it across my own features. And then, as my hand turns and comes back around, be sure to dig in just a little deeper.
The acrylic splitting under your nails as you push on the canvas, dividing your face into multiple segments, fracturing under your touch. There's a part of you that teases the thought of maybe this is what somebody's looking for. Maybe it needed a bit more of a personal touch. But that immediately clashes against that perfectionism that you have. No, how could tearing something down be a perfect achievement? What piece do you look at next?
I look at a more surrealist painting, a weird landscape, a fantasy, full of bold colors, saturation, clearly an escape of where she wants to be.
What do you do to this escape?
I take a palette knife that's been sitting next to the paintbrushes and the paints. And I just take the tip of it and just set it against the canvas gingerly at first. And just ever so slowly just poke it through and start to
Hoping that
carve.
you can tunnel into it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you cut a large enough hole, you'll be able to get inside. Once you've cut this hole, you look through the painting, and there's another painting on the pile that you don't recognize. It looks like it could be in your style, but it's different. This one it's a lot of shadow and shade, and there's a single door painted right in the center of the canvas. An incredibly detailed door, shrouded in shadow. It could be something that you might paint, but you know you didn't.
Curiouser and curiouser. Where did you come from?
The real question, of course, is whether this is your painting or not, is it going to suffer the same fate as your others?
I take my hand and gently first I feel the surface of the painting just to see if those brushstrokes feel as familiar as they look. Because it's almost like it's just not quite there.
It feels familiar in style, but it's oil and not acrylic. So it's not yours. Not your materials, but your style. It's reflectant of you.
I bring it kind of closer to my face to see the details of this door.
It is beyond detailed. There's dimension to it that you only wish that you could achieve in your work. You can see the individual segments of the door. You can see the imperfections of the door. You can see the reflection on the handle. It's the longer you look at it, the more taunting it is to you that this could be your work, but it's not.
My fingertip traces the doorknob on it, longing to open it, and just simply saying to myself, was this from one of my sleepless nights that I can't even remember at this point?
Does this painting suffer your same wrath?
No, I put this one on display.
You walk over to the easel that at a mild angle. It's set at a mild angle because it's just sort of pushed aside by you. You set it up, painting tips back. You hear a hinging sound as the painting hits the easel and lays at a 45-degree angle. The hinging sound does not seem to have come from the easel, though. It seems to have come from the painting. And as you turn around to look at it, the door is different. It's cracked open. It wasn't cracked open before. It was freestanding, but shut.
Now I know I must be really losing it. And I wonder if the tears welling in my eyes have just deceived me to thinking it was closed before. And if it was really cracked open or not. And I lean over it, trying to see if I can get a peek of what's just behind that door.
You lean over, looking into the door, looking for what might be behind that door. Forgetting that the easel is not as vertical as it should be. It's angled forward, angled backwards, causing you to angle forward more as you lean. You trip and you fall into the easel and find yourself head over heels onto your back on a city street. Cold pavement beneath you. a gray, hazy sky above you, framed by towering skyscrapers all around. And you tilt your head back from the direction where you fell. You see a door, much like the one that painted, swinging open and then swinging shut with a click.
Have I too fallen down the rabbit hole?
Well, you
Where am
certainly
I
won't find
now?
out on your back.
I take a hand and kind of just prop myself up onto it, taking in
Pushing
my
yourself up,
surroundings.
looking around. You see a city. A very empty city. It's not like the one that you live in. It's much more urban. Steel and glass everywhere. But the glass isn't really reflecting much. It's just keeping that haze, absorbing that pressing glow from overhead. And it just seems to stretch onward in both directions. This one street that you're on.
I take a look around and noticing there's no one to be seen, I just shout, "Hello?"
Your voice echoes out into the city street. Hello, hello, hello. And it comes back to you. Different sounding. Deeper. Not yours, somebody else's voice calling out the same.
"Hello?
Uh,
Is
Hey,
anybody there?"
um, hey, can you hear me? Who's there?
You both
Uh,
hear each other.
Um,
I'm Lily.
um, uh, is this real? My name is Rahul. Nice to meet you. Are you real?
Are you not from here?
Lily, you can hear the voice now from just a few buildings up ahead. Do you go to it?
I'm going to start walking in the direction of the voice, yes.
And as these two start to find each other, Adrian, you're not here yet. Where are you? And more importantly, what's just happened to you?
Well, you would see on the outside what looks like a government building. Um, and you would kind of just see the outside, which is just concrete and white and very government esque. If you've ever been to DC, you know what I'm talking about. But it's very government esque. You go through that window and you see in a room full of computer servers and laptops and screens and just all dimly lit. It's a very cold room. You see Adrian sitting at his desk, tie loosened up, hair somewhat done, just enough to get by regulations. Scruffy beard, uh, eyes, kind of wide, definitely darkened circles around the eyes. He's got in one ear a playlist on Spotify. It's like 80s, 90s, and 2000s classic rock going on right now. So he's definitely listening to like Wayward Son right now on repeat, probably. As he's looking through lines of code, he is a computer forensics investigators for the FBI. So he's been working late nights. At work, trying to wrap up some cases and just getting things done. He's a single guy just sitting there. And, I would say he's wrapping up for the day, kind of gets up, just pulls out his key card. It's from inside of his pocket to swipe to get out of the room because you got to swipe to get in, swipe to get out. So he just takes a deep breath and is like, another day done, and just swipes the key card and opens the door.
Now, as you're getting ready to go, I have to ask, is it really this pursuit of finishing your tasks, your job, that it's causing all these late nights, or is there a reason that you put yourself in this brutalist office night after night, far beyond your other coworkers?
No, he's scared of sleeping.
Why?
He hears things at night. What seems like whispers in the dark. Sees things from the corner of his eye. Doesn't really understand an explanation of it. He has constantly a flashlight next to his bed because he'll wait, like stay awake at night and swear that a shadow passed by, and he'll flash it thinking there's someone standing at the edge of his bed. He's hyper vigilant at all times. Very hyper alert. He would say that his attention to the little things and the little details is really something that he strives to be, especially being in the FBI, and knowing that he has to pay attention to the little things because the little things are what matters between a big, a case to case. So these are things that he's constantly just thinking about and trying to like stay out of focus. He doesn't like to sleep because he feels like he's gonna miss something, or his mind might be racing on the details that is going on in these cases, just to make sure he has not missed anything. His close rate in the FBI is an 80%, which is immaculate. He still thinks about the 20% that he couldn't close.
And as you think about that, as you swipe your key card to exit, and you think about what remains for you tonight, nothing more than your bed, the dark, your thoughts, and whatever else is with you there. Is there any other work that you could get done, get a jump on? Does anything come to mind that maybe you could stay a little bit longer?
So he pauses right as he's about to shut the door, and you just see him kind of take a deep breath, sigh almost as he's about to leave the building, and he takes a moment to think. And then something comes to mind of a case, and he's like, I could stay, but I really need to go. So he turns around, goes back to his desk, grabs his suitcase, and opens it up and puts a case file in it so that he can take it home, and then walks back out.
You go to put the case file in your briefcase, and the folder snags as you go to pull it, and it just opens the folder. The papers go into your suitcase, and the folder itself has a tear in it.
Shit.
You could just leave your papers the way they are here, or you could get another folder from the supply closet before you go.
I believe he's not gonna like the fact that the folder is ripped, so he's gonna go to that closet and he's gonna grab a new folder.
You go to the supply closet. Are you taking your things with you? Then you're leaving everything at your desk?
I gather all of the paper and put it back into the suitcase so that it's nice and neat, so that it's not just scrummaged all over the floor and I don't get in trouble that my desk is a mess. So I just put my papers inside and just mumble under my breath, just another fucking thing on another day, and just kind of grumbles himself, goes into the closet, opens the door. At this time it's probably changed a couple songs. He's probably listening to like Limp Bizkit at this time or something like that, and and just keep rolling. And as he's like going through the folders and stuff and scrummaging it in the closet.
All right, you go into the supply closet. The door swings back closed behind you the way that it normally does. It's on that hinge. You go look for the folder. Your song changes over. It's another Limp Bizkit song. The music goes, the guitar goes. You start going back to the door, and you hear the lyrics kick in. It's just one of those days, but then it just keeps repeating. It's just one of those days. Just one of those days. Just one of those days. And Spotify doesn't skip like that.
The hell? He takes out his phone, just tries to reset, turn on and off his phone, try to see if that helps.
And turning off your phone as you push open the door to the supply closet, you let your phone turn back on. You look up. You're not in the office. You're looking at a warped reflection of yourself in the side of a window on a building. A building made of glass.
Curious.
And you hear the door click behind you.
He pushes his hand up against the glass.
It's cold. It's solid. It does give a little bit under your hand, but not too much.
What the hell did I eat?
As you look at this, you look at the reflection in the window. Now that you're close, you can actually see reflection, and behind you is also not the supply closet. It's not the office. Turning around, you see that you're on one side of a street, across the street from similar buildings. Looking down each road, more buildings. Looking up, towering buildings. And these buildings are unnaturally close together. You do live in a much more urban area, given where your office is located, and usually there's some level of spacing to buildings this tall, but it just seems as if buildings are put into places wherever they could fit, and as you look more at them, buildings seem to overlap with one another in some places, as if buildings were put down and there wasn't enough space, or someone just put a building right through the other buildings.
I just grab a pen that I have in my pocket, just kind of hit the glass, start looking for seams.
You hear the tap, 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 and then it echoes back to you tenfold, like rain on the glass.
That's not normal.
Off to your left, you hear soft noise, a couple of voices. And if you look down that street, you can see shape of somebody walking towards an alley. There is somebody on this street besides you.
I'm gonna stay back. I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow, but being trained, I'm gonna tail them so that they can't see me. So hide behind obstacles so that I can see where they're going, just to see where my bearings are.
You notice they're heading towards an alleyway, so it's not an incredible distance for them to go before you just have to be up on them. But you do your normal training. You keep yourself as concealed as possible. You keep yourself pressed up against cars that are very out of date for modern day. It's almost as if there were a classic car show in town, but none of the cars actually look really nice. They're just very old and not remarkable, except for the fact that they're decades out of style.
I look for a 1967 Chevy Impala.
You think that you found one, but when you go to look at like where it might indicate what kind of car it is, you have not seen these symbols before.
Damn it.
It's illegible.
I was saying names in my head that I cannot repeat for copyright reasons, but I thought I was there. Just kind of, is there in the alleyway, is there a way that I can stay still out of sight but hear the conversation that's going on?
You could stay across the street from that alley, and you might be able to conceal yourself behind one of the larger vehicles, but you would still have to be pretty close to the alley.
All right. So I want to get close enough where if if the opportunity presents itself, I can still be there, but far away enough they can't see me, but I can hear them.
Absolutely. And you hear two people, a male voice and a female voice, speaking back and forth to each other, but equally confused. Seemingly equally as confused as you are. But they're communicating with one another and as they draw closer to each other.
I'm just going to stay put for now until I know the coast is clear.
And as you listen to this approaching conversation, Mason, what have you been up to so far?
Okay. So Mason just got back from a very long trip abroad. But the thing is that he hasn't told anyone he's gotten back, or like he's told anyone close to him that he's gotten back. Like his family doesn't know, his close friends don't know. And he's been back in the States for about, I want to say, a week or so, right? Um, and the reason why he's back is that for about 6 months he was working at a nonprofit dismantling the 350,000 pounds of undetonated ordnance that is still in the Southeast Asian jungle. He was pretty excited about it when he started that job at first. Giving back, trying to, but at the same time, um, you know, that kind of job comes with risks and that sort of thing. And at some point, he quit on them, just also unexpected. Just bought the first ticket back, and he's been dodging their phone calls ever since. I want to say right now, he's been awake a lot. He tells people it's the jet lag, but really, there's stuff he sees at night that he doesn't want to deal with. And so what he does is he's been on the hedonic treadmill, so to speak, right? So a lot of upper drugs, a lot of partying, a lot of you know, not treating himself very well and very much being in the moment while also not being present at all. So I want to say right now, he's in a hotel bathroom in a cold bath with all his clothes on, and at like 7 in the morning, after coming down from several party drugs and such as like that. And and I'm sure there's someone he met at a party last night asleep in the bedroom outside, but he's just kind of just like hiding here, and for the first time in like a week processing everything, but at the same time uh lost in himself.
It's always the folks that are going the hardest that are doing the most to keep going hard. The harder you go, the further away you get from whatever it is that you're running from.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you're seeing at night? Is it reflections of what you saw when you were overseas, or is it more than that?
He hears former colleagues calling his name. But then whenever he looks in the dark corners of the rooms that he's in, he sees their mangled bodies and and the voices that are calling to him are telling him to they're telling him, where were you? And that's the kind of question that he doesn't really want to answer right now, because I don't got time for that. I got my life to live. I'm trying to move on from this. I don't.
And also, is there even an answer for that sometimes? Like, Was there more that you could have done that would have helped them? Could your being there have helped them, or would you have found yourself in the same fate? But of course, these are also questions that you don't want to answer or even think about, do you, Mason?
No, I'm good.
Because that's a hole.
That's a big hole, and I'm and I'm gonna just if it's a and it's if it and usually when you see a big pothole on the road, you just keep driving around. Um, so I think that's what he thinks he's doing right now. Is that uh, this this brief respite now will will be just another thing to just continue to run from. I don't know. I think the other thing that they're calling him that he doesn't want to he doesn't want to admit out loud that these voices at night are calling him a coward, right? Like what he did back there was out of fear and out of uh maybe a misplaced sense of self-preservation that you know. But yeah, he's in this bathtub, and at some point he finds like, okay, let's put myself back together, and he kind of like slowly like gets out, water dripping off of his shirt and pants, and everything like that. It was a very cold bath because he felt like maybe with so many substances he's on, he just wants to kind of like numb himself all across the board.
Of course.
But now he's
of
like,
course.
I got to be a person again. Great, that's
right.
so cool.
And you're getting up out of the bath. You're squeezing your shirt out, letting the water wring out, and you hear the person that you brought back to the hotel with you just kind of tiredly, weakly call out your name in the other room. It's Mason.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be on a second.
And then it calls back again, Mason, except it's not that person's voice anymore. It's a deeper voice. And then another voice, strained in the vocal cords, trying to choke out your name, calls back to you. Mason?
I look out the window. And I'm trying to see how many floors up I am on this hotel.
Far too many for what you might be thinking.
Okay. There's no like balcony or anything. I can just kind of.
Not in the bathroom, no. The balcony would be across the room near the bed.
I inch my way towards the door. And I crack it open just a little and I peek out.
Peek out. No one's in the room. Just the person that you came in here with, laying on the bed. You close the door again to steady yourself. Usually this comes at night, not this early in the morning, but with your lack of sleep schedule the way it is, what's time anymore, right?
Right. I look in the mirror just to like get my sense of reality back, maybe, if that would help.
What are we seeing on the surface as you look into this mirror?
The facade of a well-adjusted Asian American urban male.
Very fair.
Yes, but it seems like the bags under his eyes are heavier than they were yesterday, and like basically someone who looks like shit who's doing his best to look like someone who looks really good.
Fair. Do you, after looking at yourself, go back to the door?
I tried to like tell myself like, you're just hearing things. This will pass. It's not real. It's we're gonna go back out there and it'll be fine. And we're gonna move on. We're done. It's this we're done. We're great. We're awesome. And I turn back to the door. I step out, trying to back into my old swagger, or at least how much I can muster.
You put it on. You're ready to get back into it. You've told yourself that you're ready to get back into it, whether it's true or not. You more confidently push the door, and you're falling. It's not far that you're falling. It's only like 5-6 feet that you're falling. But you tumble and land flat on your back onto cold concrete. You can feel it extra through the wet clothes on you.
I kind of just lie there for like a second. I like just on the ground, like I fell asleep. I'm sleeping. I'm dreaming. Am I? But
And
I
you look up from the ground at the mixed grays of the sky and the buildings that rise up from around you. And two things come into view over you. Face of a woman, her hair done up in a messy bun, splatters of paint on her cheek. And a very just a strung out Indian man. Both of them from either side of you looking down at you. Lily and Raoul, as you got close to each other, listening to each other, a man dropped from about a person and a half's height from the building connected to this alley through a door up there. Why is there a door up there? There's no fire escape. There's no balcony. There's just a door. But the door is open, and this man flat onto the ground in front of you, between you both.
wet
Whoa.
splat, just like
Acme style, Roadrunner style.
Whoa,
And
dude.
Adrian, you watched this from across the street. You watched these people coming closer together, and then suddenly up above, a door opened, and this man just cartwheeled out onto the ground.
Ah!
That must have hurt.
Did
Okay,
you
okay,
fall
okay.
through a painting of a door too?
I took a bunch of E last night, but I don't know if I didn't test it before I took it though. And then I finally like kind of hinge on my hips until I'm like sitting on my butt.
Oh, okay, I'm okay. Wake up, wake up, wake up! You just see Raul just like smacking himself.
Hey,
Think-
it's
This is this. I don't know when I fell asleep. I haven't been sleeping in a long time. I don't know what's happening right now. This is definitely some weird dream. I need to wake up. Do I need to wake up? I mean, and you just see him kind of just go into this weird moment of, should I be awake? I mean, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe I finally have fallen asleep. And he kind of just turns to you guys. So, which one of you are the figment of my imagination? Like all of you, like, I've never met you guys. I don't know why you guys are in my dream.
I thought you guys were figments of my imagination.
Don't fuck with my brain right now. uh
I forgot to brush my teeth. And like he like gets back onto his feet, and he like starts smelling his breath.
where? And as we're turning around, do we see Adrian in the background?
I leave that up to Adrian for now.
I would say Adrian at this point is scrummaging his pockets for his identification and noticed that he didn't bring it with him, but that he could wish that his badge was with him so that he had a reason to approach.
Adrian, though you're not familiar that you're doing this, go ahead and make me your discipline roll and add 1 madness die to it. And I need you to tell me how many 1s, 2s, or 3s you have.
Oh, okay. When I roll, I'm like, huh?
Yes. Yes, once you roll.
I was like, wait a second. I have 3 2s and 1 3.
Great. Which dice pool has the highest number in it? Is it your 1 madness die or is it your discipline die?
So the 1, 2.
Even 4, 5, and 6 is fine. Just which one has the highest numerical value on it?
The highest numerical value is the madness die.
Okay.
Because there's 2 madness die, 1 discipline.
No, there
what's
should be
the other
3.
one?
There should be 3. There should be 3 discipline die and 1 madness die, I believe, unless you have as permanent madness for some reason.
No. Okay, hold on.
Okay, so yeah.
So it's so that would be the madness die has the 3, the other 2, or the other 3 are 2s.
Okay. You're reaching through, and you reach into an inside pocket that is empty. And when you pull your hand back out, your badge is in it, and you're watching your badge warp and fold in your hand into existence.
Huh.
This is very bizarre, and you're going to be overcome with an urge. You're going to, in this instance, I'm going to dictate it for you. You're going to feel an immediate need to confront the situation. So please check off a fight. I don't know if you have 1 or 2 under there. You don't need to tell me, but okay. Well, one fight is going to go away, and you are going to need to confront the situation that you are now seeing of these 3.
Okay. All right. Well, that was that was wicked. I could have swore I left this at home, but anyways, excuse me, people over there, FBI, and just shows badge. What's going on over here, y'all? I kind of saw someone fall from the. I can't explain it. Normally I can explain things, but this is unexplainable. And like he checks Mason.
Do you want to explain why the FBI is in my dreams?
I don't know if this is a dream yet.
How else do you explain someone falling from the sky and surviving like that?
Look, certain things are unexplainable, things that I've seen.
Okay. I hit rock bottom already. There's no other falling. I can fall any further. It's all good. Yeah. Hey. No. I have no explanation for what that was. I was staying at the Hilton, and then.
This is very much not the
Mason?
Hilton. Yeah.
Like, just to see if he has any injuries on him to like fall from like a 5-foot distance. He should
Mason,
at least have some type of,
I don't have my shoes on.
So we all are thinking we're each other's dreams?
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
I've been awake for 96 hours.
Hey.
I mean,
I've lost track of how many hours I've been awake.
Okay.
You got a phone?
So we're not
there,
asleep
FBI?
then.
Can you call somebody here?
Yeah, I have a phone. He pulls out his phone. Spotify playlist is still going because it's saved on his phone. Do I have any signal?
Not only do you not have any signal, you cannot read the text on your Spotify screen, and the audio you hear is just that continual looping. It's just one of those days line from Limp Bizkit earlier. It isn't actually advancing at all.
Can you read that? It just shoves it in everybody's face.
It looks like letters, but it's not letters. You can tell it. You like knowing what Spotify looks like. Like that's the artist name and that's the song name and that's what it says, what playlist it is, and none of this makes any sense to you.
Dude, do you have like a bootleg version of Spotify on your phone? Like,
That looks
what
Russian
is
right
that?
there. You got hacked, maybe?
I start walking out
Yeah,
of the
doubt it.
alleyway, and look up and down the street to see if there's like anybody else around. Uh,
Not yet.
So if this is all real, I don't know how I got here. Like I was in my room, and then the next thing I know, I'm here. Did I get knocked out? Did you guys knock me out? Am I abducted? You guys
The
kidnapped
one
me?
thing that look, Raul, one thing that we can deduce is that we're not asleep. So you can't be knocked out if we're not
I mean,
asleep.
I just woke up here then. I don't know. I didn't even wake up. I kind of just I don't know if you were not asleep. I don't know what you explained the weird thing that happened to me. Like I walk into a room, blue lights, through doors, then freaking wall, turn around, doors not reachable. I'm crashing into brick walls. I, unless I'm having this weird fugue state or like I'm sleepwalking. Um, yeah, that was a weird thing, man. I then I turn around, I see random dude falling from skies. If you can't explain that and tell me that's not a dream, I don't know what else to tell you.
The four of you hear a voice from just around the corner of the alley. A voice that goes, "Could you all keep it down?"
Holy crap!
can you tell us where we are? I shout back.
Shh. It is just around the corner of the alley that you are all in right now.
I start walking towards the voice.
I follow right behind Lily.
And Mason, you're standing right at the edge of the alley, so you could just lean back to look. Raul, I'm assuming that you are also curious, or are you staying way back?
Oh no, I'm staying way back.
Okay. Well, those of you that you see a man leaning out of a door in one of the buildings. He has a plain white shirt on and a beige apron that looks like it would be for baking. He's just leaned out of the door, very close cropped hair. He looks extremely worried. He is looking around the street, like behind you and behind him, just making a lot of noise for this part of town. Would you please keep it down?
This part of town, where are we?
You're in one of the outer districts. This is not a good place to be right now, though. Not since he showed up not too long ago. And as he talks to you, those of you that are looking at him, you're making eye contact with him, I assume, or at least you are for a bit. His one eye is just slowly drifting down his cheek,
Are you guys seeing this?
almost melting down towards his mouth.
I'm trying not to.
Sir, are you having a stroke? Do you need assistance? What's
Oh, sorry. And he just pushes the eye right back up his face until it puts back. Sorry, no, you need to not be here before he shows up.
Where's
Ooh.
here?
Here. And he looks around again and says in a very hushed tone, "Smother."
where should we go?
Not here. The District 13 is that way. He points that way. His mouth is starting to hinge sideways on his face as he points to District 13 is down that way. If you go fast enough, you could get out of this part of town to there, but he's going to be here any minute. If you want to start running, you can make it probably, hopefully. He twists his mouth back into place. Raul, are you still in the alley just hearing all this?
Yeah.
All right. You're hearing this strange voice tell these three semi-strangers that you are all apparently in danger of being here.
Well, I don't know about you three, but and Lily starts booking it in the direction he told her to go.
I I know a good doctor. As he's like pointing, he's kind of just watching Lily. But hold on, I know a good doctor. Might want to get that checked out, and he books it the other way.
Where are you guys going?
Huh? And yeah, Mason and Rahul, you watch these two just book it from your various vantage points.
Lily, why are we learning?
You said to leave. I don't know. District 13. I don't.
Do you know where even
gonna
District 13 is?
I don't care. This place is weird.
Where is here?
And you all hear a low rumbling, and the man in the baker's apron looks down and goes, "Oh," and just shuts the door, and you hear it lock heavy as there's a rumbling coming from a side street. You can feel it in the concrete shaking. The street almost looks like it's starting to warp a little under your feet. You're not moving with it, but it's starting to warp under your feet.
I look at Mason, and I'm just like, I look at where Lily and Adrian ran off to, and just start booking in that direction as well. At that point,
Oh, we're running. We're running.
yes, I guess.
I'm still kind of disoriented from my fall, and I think it takes like a second, like a couple seconds, even after everybody starts running, for me to realize I have to start running. But what happens if I like stay for like an extra 5 seconds? Do I see anything?
You see them getting further away from you, and you hear the rumbling, but you actually hear the rumbling drifting, and it's sort of vacillating. It's hard to tell. You thought it was coming down like a side street, but now you're not sure. Is it coming down a side street? Is it coming from behind you? And then you finally get the sense that it's this whole block, this building, is where the noise is coming from.
I'm thinking I'll run. I'm gonna finally I get the hint, and I
You
run in the
run.
direction of everyone else.
You run. The four of you stretched out along this block, and you realize that it's a very long block. You figured you would have reached a side street at this point, but so far you haven't. You're running, shoes and bare feet, hitting this warping pavement. One by one, you all feel something in your chest. Could I get each of you to roll your discipline die for me?
Just 3 die?
Just the 3 die.
Oops, wrong one.
And I just need to know how many successes each of you have. Ones, twos, and threes are successes.
Ones, twos, and threes are successes?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 0.
0. Okay. Do any of you have a 6 on any of your dice? You do. What is the next highest die that you have?
5.
4. Great. Great. In this instance, my dice pool is going to dominate here. So you all don't come to an immediate stop. But one by one, you feel your hearts just sink in your chest. It feels as if something has held on to it and just pulled inside of your rib cage. It's an emotional feeling and a physical feeling. And you continue to run. You feel yourselves slowing down as you all start to catch up to one another. Still running, but there's a starting of a question of what are we running from that morphs into why are we running? That morphs into why should we run? And as you slow in your run, you see it cresting over from around the side of a building, as if forcing itself between the cracks of a building, this dark amorphous blob. One arm comes out, and then another, and then another, and another, another, and another. As it pushes its way through the cracks, you can see a face, and another, and another, and another. You can feel that rumbling from underneath you, and you can start to feel it in your chest as this low keening sound comes from one or all of its mouths. You're not quite sure. And you feel that heart sink. And you get the sense that whatever smother is, this might be it. But we'll find out after we take a brief break. Letting our players
must go faster.
letting our players refresh themselves, letting you all get beverages, bathroom breaks, whatever have you. Please do donate in the sidebar for Take This, and we'll see you in just a moment.
Let's go faster.
Welcome back to Don't Rest Your Head on Vancouver by Night. Once again, this is for the Take This charity weekend. Tiltify link is in the sidebar. Please do donate for an incredible cause that we've been raising money for all weekend. Now with these four folks helping to do so via this stream. And speaking of these four folks have fallen out of their various ramshackle lives into a city confusing and unknown to them, and they barely had time to get their bearings before they were told to run. And run they did before their chests started to feel heavy, their hearts began to sink, and this amorphous, monstrous creature squeezed its way through the buildings out onto the streets. This amorphous, dark blob of many arms, many hands, many faces. A low roll coming out from somewhere deep within it. And you all can immediately infer that whatever that man was talking about, smother, this must be it. It has not blocked your path just yet. Are you going to double back? Are you going to try to outrun it? Are you going to skid to a stop? How are you going to be reacting to this?
Okay, so I have this madness talent preparedness. It says that I'm
Yes.
supernaturally prepared for whatever comes up, and I may in fact be bending time to make it happen. So I was thinking maybe I would use that to like infer how the city streets kind of uh go, like the directions of the city streets that we're running on, and kind of like use because I imagine I've spent a lot of time in very similar urban landscapes back on my time abroad, and especially in Asia, there's cities are very like tightly packed and and you don't even know where ground floor is. So maybe applying that similar logic to like get to safety, maybe.
Sure. Go ahead and roll your discipline dice and add 2 madness dice onto this.
Okay, cool. So cool. So on my discipline, I got a 2, a 1, and a 2, and then on my madness, I got a 6.
Okay, so you're definitely succeeding, but you'll be marking off either fight or flight in this situation, just one of them. Which one would you like to have dominate here?
We're leaving, so
flight. Great.
Yeah.
So as the four of you run with this sinking feeling and see this massive form come in front of you, Mason catches up to you, like skids to a stop, and then just lifts up his hand, and you have a map in your hand. It just looks like a map like you might pick up in like a town center, visitor center. This map is very convoluted, but it's a city map, and it says clear across the top, Mad City. It's the only thing you've been able to read so far in here. Basically, you immediately pull it up, and you get an immediate sense of where you are, and you point the direction to the nearest side street for everybody to go.
Yeah. Like maybe even the map even like materializes the "you are here" thing on it, and be like,
absolutely,
okay, cool, great. Let's go north. And then
do you all follow the strange map that appeared? You do see District 13. It's a little bit like further up in the map. It's a big central hub looking thing.
Okay. Let's go to District 13. Sounds like a fun party town.
That's what I was saying this whole time. Yeah,
great.
Let's go.
Now I know how to go there.
How do we? Okay, well, lead the way.
Okay. If anyone sees a cab, call it. I'd rather not do this on foot.
Yes, seriously.
I haven't seen any cars.
Haven't run in ages.
I mean,
you've seen cars, but you haven't seen any moving cars.
By. Yeah, no cars driving by.
I mean, if it's a dream, I feel like we could just like hop in one of these, like, and then I go just like, I would imagine one of these is open, and I try to see if I can open one of the cars that are there.
You can open a car door.
Oh, and I kind of look a little shocked that it did open. I'm like, and maybe most of the time there's a key in the keyhole, and I look into.
There is not a key in the keyhole.
All right, and I look at. Well, shit, this is a nightmare then. All right. Anybody know how to hotwire a car?
I have an exhaustion talent. called Steady Hands. Can I hotwire a car with that?
I'd say that you can, but given the timing of this, since this
Okay.
creature is coming out, and as Lily's mentioned, she is primed to run right now. You could willingly take an exhaustion point, which will add an exhaustion die to all of your dice going forward to do this very fast, or you don't take that and you run the risk of this thing catching up to you in the process.
I'll take the exhaustion point, and then
Okay.
I'll hotwire a car.
So Lily, you say no, we're running, and Mason goes no, and just jumps in the car, reaches his hand under, fiddles around, and the car just roars to life. This thing is still like working its way through the building crevices. It's almost out onto the street.
I slam the horn twice at Lily. Get in!
I skid to a stop and wait for the car to catch up to me, and then just open a door and hop in.
The other two of you?
I happen as well.
Oh, I'm hopping in, but I'm looking at the radio trying to change it to see if there's any classic radio on there, like any type of like rock music or like even pursuit music, anything that would play.
It's funny, like as you're fiddling through the radio, and Mason, you're going, you hear music that sounds reminiscent of songs that you know, but it sounds kind of off. It all seems to have a same theme though as you flip through. Like this one is Run for the Hills, this one is Run Boy Run, this one is Run for Your Life, and it all seems to have a very similar theme as you flip station to station as Mason just floors this car.
That would work. Whatever. Just go, 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 go. We need some theme music.
Ran. So far.
You land on a flock of seagulls as you tear out. Mason, this car spins out. You immediately notice as you're driving, the car it seems very low to the ground.
Okay.
As you look out, this car doesn't have wheels. It's just
crap.
sliding on the ground. You're driving it, mind you.
You picked one without wheels?
I wasn't looking.
Look at his feet. He doesn't have shoes.
This sort of car, is sliding and moving, and this creature has come out of the building. Mason, please make a roll for me now. So your 3 discipline plus your 1 exhaustion.
Okay.
To see if you can outdrive this thing.
Discipline. I got 5, 4, 4, and then I got a 5 in exhaustion.
So that is no successes at all. But
this car got no wheels.
Fortunately, your exhaustion and your discipline tied, and then you have higher on your discipline, so you don't gain any more exhaustion. But you are not going to be able to outrun this. So you're driving, and it's going, and you all very quickly realize that there's only so fast a car that can't actually get traction on the ground can go, dream logic or not. And very rapidly, you feel a thud on the side of the car, and then another, and another, and another. And looking out, you see these inky hands slapping against the windows of the car.
No. What in the Nemo?
And I press the big red button that I see in the middle to convert this car into the Men in Black car with the rockets, and it levitates off the ground.
I assume this is your madness. You want to bring your madness talent into this again?
Yes.
This is going to include a 4 madness dice addition onto your discipline pool for the amount of change of the scene that we're looking at.
All right. So I'm gonna explain how this happens. Like I'm assuming this thing's about to like engulf us and smother us, right? So like this big red button in the center console just appears, and I'm like, what does this do? And I push it, and if we succeed, then I'll explain further. If not, then
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
I'll go ahead and roll. I'll go ahead and roll as well, since it's trying to grab onto you at the moment.
No whammies. Heck yeah. There's only 1 bad die in this thing.
Okay, so there's successes across the board?
Across the board. With 1 madness die that's a 4. The rest are 2s.
Okay.
Yeah, 2s.
Excellent. So yeah, that beats. I had all successes on my end, but that beats it out by far. Are you going to uncheck fight or flight for this, given that madness
Flight.
dominates again? Flight.
Flight, because we're trying to get the heck out of here.
Okay, so uncheck flight. So you should only have one more box remaining
Yes.
between fight and flight. So
Yes.
describe what happens as you change the scene and press this button.
So I'm assuming Mason's struggling to keep the car up, and we're about to get swallowed in by this big thing. So like, I press this button, and in like very sci-fi fashion, the wheel, like the steering wheel, gets sucked in from Mason's side and comes up to like my side, and like it just folds the calipers of the car under, then levitates the car off the ground, and a big rocket gets shot from the back. So it kind of converts the car, and it just starts blowing out fire from the back, hopefully burning this thing off, and then us taking off into whatever direction we can go.
You are all going 3 times as fast as you were before. You see
FBI, huh?
because I did roll all successes on Smother's end. Like it is hanging on for a bit, but you're seeing bit by bit one hand slip off, another hand slip off, another hand slip off.
If I can I assist using my madness talent?
How would you like to?
So my madness talent is, or exhaustion talent, sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to see if I can use exhaustion on him to further. Let's see. Does it look like he will like successfully let go of us, or is there like a still consequence?
So you look at it, and just something in you is like it wells up inside, and you want that feeling that you've been having out of you onto it.
Yeah, I think
go ahead. Go on, please.
I think he just kind of looks at the thing, almost not really apathetic, but like very much giving up, sort of a feeling of, man, this another thing, another exhausting thing, another thing I'm not going to be successful at. Man, I just wish something else felt this way. I just wish I can share this away of constantly feeling like nothing's going to work out, and kind of wish these fingers just like, oh man, you think you're going to succeed. I wish you didn't succeed. I wish you knew how this felt like.
Now, you're doing this, you look back at it, and you can't quite pinpoint which face to look at as it's constantly shifting. Each face looks mournful as you hear this sound, and you all feel that tugging at your heart more. Given the nature of this creature, I will allow what you're doing to succeed if you are willing to take an exhaustion point.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It digs at you as you push this. It's exhausting for you to feel this want to get rid of it, but it pushes to such a degree that you watch the hands that are still holding on one by one go to the different faces on its body in a sort of lament until it finally releases from the car, drifting backwards as you continue to rock it forward. As you feel that pull in your heart more, in a brief moment of connection to it, as you feel that shared sensation of what am I doing? That feeling that you've been having pushed to something else for just a moment, but it was enough of a moment.
Yeah. And I think he almost looks at it like as if, I know. Now you know. Now you know how it feels. So.
And the car continues to breakneck down the roads. Given Mason's earlier madness talent usage, I'm assuming the map is just like up in front of Adrian to give some sense of direction.
Where are we going?
District 13!
Right or left?
Right?
You pull, pivot, until finally you break through the street. And it's about this point that just the turning, the big rock on the back of the car just comes spinning off of the car. The car lands flat and just sort of spins on its flat belly to a stop in the middle of an enormous opening in the city. You can see the buildings are circled around this centerpiece. There are still some smaller buildings here, government-looking buildings. They look actually rather familiar to you, Adrian. And a large clock tower in the middle, and it's still mostly empty.
Is there a sunroof on this car?
There is.
Okay, I pop the sunroof and I kind of like pop my head out and like rest my arms on the roof and like look around. Is Smother still behind us?
You don't see it.
Okay, guys, I think we're clear.
Everybody all right? Besides this nagging headache.
Define all right.
At least we're not dead.
Yeah.
That's a big relief, I think. But
And
The
you all hear just off to the side of the car, you hear this sound of paper crumbling.
Turn my head slowly to look at.
There's a small man, hard to tell, wearing buttoned up shirt with suspenders on slacks, a little newsy hat, and he is writing furiously in a hand notebook. And it's very quick to realize that the sound that you heard is his face. His head just looks like crumpled paper into a ball.
Oh, not again. What? Who?
And he looks up and goes, "That was incredible."
What
Hey.
are you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm a paper boy.
Hey, Paperboy, how do I get out of Mad
That's
City?
So literal.
How do you get out of Mad City?
Yeah, I was at the Hilton and now I'm here. I'm trying to get home.
Well, you have to get through the right door to get out.
Okay. Specify it?
Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. And he just sits up. Says, "I want to know all about what you just came from. I want to know all about your story. You give me your story, I'll let you in on the right way out. Well, best I can give you the right way out.
How do I know you're telling the truth?
I'm a man of my word. The written word is the important word. Here," and then he writes and he holds up his notebook, and it says, "Paperboy makes a deal," on it.
But why are we interesting to you? Like what?
Everybody is interesting. Everybody has a story to tell, and the more stories that there are to tell, the more stories there are to share, and the more stories that we can share with the city.
Yeah, right.
Stories
Listen,
shape our lives.
What?
yeah, I
Look,
got nothing to tell you,
I-
guy.
not everyone's special, okay?
Everything
People are
is
just-
special.
Whatever. Look, we don't have time for this, okay? We got to get back
Okay.
to our lives.
Here, Paperboy,
Okay, well,
all right. Hey, hold on.
look-
Come on. I'm here.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No,
It's
no,
fine.
no.
If you don't want to talk to me, you could try to find it out yourself, or you can go ask the tax man. And he goes and he points at a very squat building back against the edge of this circle. Adrian, this looks too familiar to you. The tax man. This is a Washington governmental building. It's pushed up against it. It has like the goldish looking dome on the top. It has a clock tower next to it. The tax man runs everything around here. So if you want to go ask him, figure out
Is
a
that
way
the
out, you go do
Capitol?
that. We're in it.
So that's, I'm assuming, the governor's office.
That's the tax man's office.
Lily just looks
Taxman
at
runs this
Adrian.
place.
Tax man runs everything around here. What was that, Lily?
Lily looks at Adrian and she's like, "What kind of boring ass dream world is this?
We never said it was a
Is
dream
this
world.
some sort of government psychedelic psycho trip to get information out
Whoa.
of us. Like, I don't even what I don't even have anything.
Do you think I would be here if it was government? I mean,
You're the one
I
with the
wouldn't.
badge.
Look, my badge was left back at home. That thing just appeared out of nowhere. I have no idea where we're at and why we're here.
Are you saying that the badge you had in your hand was not a real badge? Are you
That
pretending
thing definitely looks
to
pretend.
be a
No,
FBI agent? Isn't that a federal crime or something?
trust me. I am an FBI agent. I just don't have my badge with me.
Yeah, that's what they all say, buddy.
Sure.
All right, whatever you say. Trust me, I wouldn't be here if this was government.
Listen, I'm not waiting around or talking to any sort of tax governor.
Sounds like you might be our
Whoever.
best bet anyway. Seems
The
like
paper boy seems to know what he's talking about. I mean,
I do.
you got
I
the
do.
scoop. You got the scoop, right?
I will in a minute. You got as long as you want to tell me what sent you into the middle of District 13 in a car with no wheels.
Okay,
How about
all
we
right,
make a deal here?
I like deals.
All
Like I
right?
said, he taps. Paperboy makes a deal. What do we got? And his face crumples again with that little sound.
Oh, okay.
No.
Is anybody else not phased by that? Like,
I'm still coming
It
down
creeps
off a lot
me
of
out.
stuff. So it's really.
Can you not do that again? That's the first thing. That's just a little creepy.
It's my face.
I understand, but just please don't do it again.
I won't my face again. Got it. What's the deal?
All right. The deal is, I will tell you a story. Okay. I will tell you a
Okay.
story
Okay.
for the ability to tell us where the hell are we and what is this place?
You're in District 13. I already told you that.
Yeah, but what is this place? We don't know what this place is. We're obviously not from here, as he points to himself in a completely normal suit.
You're awake.
Yes. As far as I know,
You're
I'm awake.
You're awake, and he's writing as he's talking. You are awake. We get awake folks here from time to time. It's always interesting. They always come with the most fascinating entrances, just like you did, just like you guys just did. This
Sorry,
is Mad City.
Is awake not a usual thing?
Typically, there's levels of awake. There's, up and about and awake, but there's awake, and you are awake.
What does that mean?
It means that you were able to find your way here to Mad City.
Find our way here is a very deliberate way of putting that, and it
Very
seems like
loosely
we
said.
more so.
You found the
just
doors?
Fell.
found a weird blue light, and that's all the reason I was here for. I just
Right. You can
What
see
if-
the doors.
What if the doors found us?
I don't remember
Is
a
that how
door.
it works?
Potato, tomato.
I feel like that's not the phrase, but okay. How do we leave again?
You have to find you find the doors.
How do we find the door?
There are dozens of thousands of doors.
Mm-hmm.
We just go and open each and every one, hope one of them turns out to be the one we need.
I don't know. I don't leave here.
You don't live here?
No, I don't leave here. I don't go through the doors. That's your guys' business.
How did the others find out which door was the one?
I don't know. One group I think went and talked to the Wax King. The other ones, I think they were checking at the high school, but I haven't heard from them in a little bit. Some people go talk to the tax man. He tends to work stuff out with him. He knows where everything is going on here. It's a variety of things. Some people like to just trial and error.
And who's the Wax King?
Wax King, he is the king of, he just points down at the ground. He's the king of underground.
Oh, that sounds not fun. Okay. The Taxman or Wax King or high school?
High school, high school might not work out great for you guys. They tend to not like, and he just points at Raul and Adrian and Mason, but specifically not at you, Lily. Mother Wen tends to not like, well, you know,
Well-dressed men?
more the last part of that. Men.
Okay.
Right.
So how'd you guys get here?
We fell through doors. That's what happened.
Right, but
I
then
just
what?
told you.
But then what? But then what?
That's it. Then that's
And
it.
then
We're
we
here.
found each
Okay,
other.
wait.
You fell through doors on a car with no wheels?
No.
Well-
We fell into the middle of a street. Well, I fell into the middle of a street.
Mm-hmm.
And then some dude told us to shush, who his face was melting.
Mm-hmm.
And then
He's writing everything that you're saying down.
he told us to run, and we started running, or I started running, and these guys followed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tried to hotwire a car, and we got in the car, and it didn't have wheels, but somehow Adrian made it fly, and that's how we got here.
Thanks. Dots the page. Goes, wonderful. That is it. See, that is an interesting story.
Listen, I'm sure that's going to need a lot of editing. You know, like you're going to have to like spruce that up. You can't just run that just the way it is. Like,
I'll run it through the editor, and it'll go through its format.
great. Fantastic.
Wait, are you like publishing this somewhere?
Maybe if it's a good enough story.
Are we getting royalties for this? Like some compensation? I mean, if you're gonna take our story, I feel like
I just told you where you can go check to find out where they get the doors. That was the agreement I made with this guy right here.
No, I told you. I said I was going to give you a story. That's not the.
I just got
story.
one. I just got a story.
That was with her. That was not with me.
Oh, so okay. So then what I'm hearing is that we didn't make a deal, and so no, I won't owe anything because we didn't make a deal in the first place.
No, you made a deal with me. You didn't make a deal with her.
Okay.
Right. So
listen,
So this story is
he's
free,
got
is what I'm
his
hearing.
Story. We got information. Let's just go see that tax dude and find out where these doors are.
Is there anything else in this plaza? Is there like a convenience store or anything? Mason's looking to buy a pack of cigarettes.
And he checks his wrist. There is notably no watch there, and then he looks up at the clock tower. And goes, the bazaar is probably going to start in a little bit.
Okay. I guess while
Don't even
everyone
look where
else-
he's looking.
Yeah, I look at the direction of the clock tower.
Cool. It is a 12:45 on the clock.
That's
What does that mean?
Wait. There's 13 hours on the clock here.
Is this like a leap year situation? What's
Is that like a leap hour?
Only here.
Only here.
Oh, only here. Okay.
What time zone are we in?
What time you got?
Quarter to 13.
My phone doesn't work, so I don't know.
Hey, one last question before we go.
Yes.
What was that smother thing?
Oh, Smother is he is a problem. He took
Clearly.
over a whole section forking off of District 13. The taxman is not happy about that one.
Okay, cool. Well, at least the tax person is on our side then. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
What does that mean?
I'm not the taxman. I can't tell you.
so.
We should
Sounds
just
like
go
we could
ask
probably
the
talk to the
taxman.
taxman.
Why don't you come with us and introduce us to this tax man?
Oh no, I've got a story to publish.
He's got work to do, Adrian.
How
I
tight's your
think this
deadline?
guy
You
would
can't,
get us really inside.
you can't get an extension on that publication?
Oh no, I've got to get this out before the bazaar kicks in. Besides, you're great. You got a suit. He likes
You got a
suits.
suit.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a suit. Great.
Yeah, he tips his newsy hat and he just tips backwards off of the thing he was sitting on.
All right. Well, that didn't get us anything except for go see the tax man.
You need to smoke.
Hey, what was your
Uh.
name, by the way?
There's no response.
Oh,
Shit.
well. All right, suit dude, lead us
I
to the
guess
tax man.
I guess we're going to the tax man and I'm gonna go towards the direction that he pointed towards, and guess lead the way. I'm gonna fix my tie to not make it look all messy and kind of look presentable for people.
Okay, great. So you're walking through the promenade, we'll call it, of District 13. You see these buildings pushed out into circular formats. You can see there's bushes, hedges, rather well manicured into shapes that the longer you look at them, the less sense they make. You walk up on this building. Again, very Washington, D.C. style, very, very federal government style building. And you can, like, when you look through, you can see there's a lot of movement back and forth inside. So this is a place of business in here.
So
Really starting to-
neoclassical.
You are right.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right,
As-
Lily.
As we were walking up to this building, Lily's going to just start to listen a little closer to the voices that have been just in the back of her mind.
Are you using your madness talent for this?
Yes.
So at that level, I will let you decide how many madness dice you want to add on, given the vaguer description. You can add between 1 and 6. Obviously, the more dice you add, the more that you will be able to hear, some of which may not be able to be heard through normal means.
She's still pretty afraid of whatever this is, so she's just gonna use 2.
Okay, go ahead and roll your discipline, your discipline and your 2 madness dice.
4 successes.
Ooh.
Okay. And which pool has the highest number on it?
The discipline.
Great. So nothing in particular is going to happen. Nothing special is going to happen. Your situation is under control.
Yeah.
You're sitting and you're listening. You're staring and listening. You watch Lily's head just turn and listen more. Her ear has a sort of a warmer color to it. It almost looks like it bleeds out to a warmer saturation than the rest of her does. She doesn't seem to notice this, though. As you're listening, you hear the voices from inside the office. It's a lot of very bureaucratic red tape conversation, a lot of city ordinance, a lot of day to day. And then you start to hear competing voices. Competing voices telling you go and no. Some of them want you to go further in because, and you can infer, it's farther away from the creature you were just running from. And then some of them don't want you to go in because it's its own kind of danger. You're getting the sense that much like other things in the city, this place could be helpful, but it will be at a cost as well.
No, go or no. Go or no.
Wait, we all hear this, the go or no, or just
No,
Lily?
only Lily does, but you do hear her saying go or no over and over again as her ear is just warm on her head.
Is that normal?
Yeah, I've never heard it.
No, I'm talking about the thing around her ear.
What's wrong with my ear?
It's got a different color.
I go
You
to
touch it. It feels normal.
It doesn't feel hot.
Yeah, her
Whatever,
ear looks normal, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. Look, we should just probably go or no.
What does that mean?
Like I just look very flighty, like I'm about to take off again, and
Dude,
I don't know which way.
What
to
are
go.
you hearing?
You guys don't hear that?
No.
No. Okay. Cool. Tight. I'm sure it's fine. Listen, we'll just.
Okay,
We'll just
all right. You sure? At this time, Adrian's a little concerned whether he should go
Do we have
forward
a
or not.
plan in there? Like what if things go sideways? Like what if they
What,
try and
like
like
getting
imprison us
smothered?
in there? Yeah. Uh what are we gonna do? Like
I mean,
Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Might as well just see what happens. And then I kind of just like
great.
walk past her into the door.
You might want shoes on first.
I'll find some in there.
So Mason pushes open the door. Do the three of you follow?
hesitantly, yes.
Okay.
Lily is bringing up the rear and kind of like still in that do I go in or no or
Okay.
yeah, she's just very hesitantly dragging herself to follow.
Adrian wants to take a moment and look at his surroundings before entering and wants to spot, since he's seen government buildings, he knows government buildings well, kind of wants to see if there's anything out of place, anything that doesn't make sense to him. Just like,
Do you mean aside from the city?
besides the city and how obviously paper face, but like, is there anything else that just does not seem right? Like, does he feel like someone's watching them?
You don't feel like somebody's watching you, but the sky hasn't changed. It's still that gray haze. You've been here for a bit and you haven't noticed any change in light. You haven't heard a single bird since you've been here. You hear, now that you're in the city, you hear the sounds of traffic and city sound echoing for like elsewhere in the city, but you haven't seen anybody yet. You can tell that people are working in the buildings in here, but they're not out in the courtyard yet. And that clock still says 13 as the minute hand is clicking towards it.
So we don't see anyone in this building, but we can hear what's hustle and bustle.
Yeah, until you go up, once Mason has opened the door, you will not see anybody. You have not seen anybody out and about in this courtyard or promenade, whatever you'd like to call it.
Okay. I'm gonna be the last one in, but I just want to check surroundings first.
Okay. You all go in behind Mason and you see a very busy government building. Lots of people are running papers back and forth. They're talking. They're working on computers or typewriters or machines that look kind of like some combination of both. It's a weird mix. Everybody's very busy, hustling, bustling back and forth. The only thing that really stands out to you, though, is that everybody's head looks like a pin that you would put into like a map, or a pin that you would sew with like a needle. Regular bodies, just pin, push pin.
Lily's gonna do one of those where like you walk into the door, look at it, go nope, and try and turn around.
You turn around into the others.
God, no, I'm not.
I walk up to one and I was like, hey, I got an appointment with the tax man.
Everybody in the room just stops and looks at you. Well, you think they're looking at you. There aren't eyes to say, but everybody just stops and pivots and looks at you, talking.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were supposed to say that out loud.
Leaning forward, you have an appointment?
Yeah, I'm his 12:45.
You're a little bit late, but I think you can make an exception for that.
Great. Can you take me to his office?
Absolutely. And he just pivots on a heel and merrily jaunts down the hallway as everybody resumes business.
I kind of look back at everyone else, and I look up at the guy, and then look back at everyone else, and I'm like, shall we? Shall?
I don't know, man. I can't even tell anymore whose dream this is. So if you're in charge, you're in charge.
I think the drugs are in charge, but but you know.
Sure.
You walk down the hall. You walk down the hall. You see more of these pinheads just working. Occasionally, like something brushes up against your leg, and you look down, and it's a dog, but its face just narrows into a point, much like everybody else's heads do here. And just this one pinhead just weaves and bobs through everybody else, effortlessly ducking under papers, not giving you all much time to do so. So it's up to you to dodge as well. But he's leading you all the way back through, further and further into the building.
What kind of government building allows dogs in here?
They're a
Don't
cool
ask
office.
me.
They're millennials, clearly.
You walk by, you see a large door on your right as you pass by, and it just has a brass placard on it. It says "Officer Talk," and from inside you can hear a faint ticking sound. But you don't stop at that door. You keep walking.
Officer Talk?
Talk.
I'll make a notation
Talk
somewhere.
as in
Charge of the
TUCK or
time?
TALK?
You could infer from the ticking sound that you hear it may be TOCK,
Oh, I see.
but it also does say that on the placard. Yes.
Officer Talk. Well, there's the first cop I've seen all day.
And the pinhead finally pivots on his heel in front of a large door. This part of the building, the wall is bigger, the door is bigger. It almost looks like this room has become an illusion room where the closer you get to this door, the smaller you are. It doesn't look like the building itself has changed much. He goes, "Well, here you are." And he knocks 3 times and opens the door and just calls out, "Your 1245 is here."
Thanks, guy.
What's
Have
your
a
name?
Good day.
And he just salutes, pivots, and walks off.
I don't think any of these guys have names.
And from inside, you hear a voice go, "Oh, come on, I don't have all day."
I enter.
Mason, you're leading the way, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah. I enter, and prop my collar and make myself decently presentable as much as I can.
The room looks like somebody's study. It has this like cozier feeling that is very lacking in the rest of this bureaucratic building. The air is thick with a cigar smoke that doesn't seem to irritate your lungs much, but it's very presently there. There's a large man in an immaculate business suit sitting behind a desk. His head also looks like a pushpin. It's one of those like plastic pushpins where you can very definitively tell the top of it compared to the others, which are more slender. And he sits with his hands steepled, long, metallic, pointy fingers steepled together. He goes, "You're my 1245 then."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's us. We're awake.
Well, wonderful. He looks at the elf and goes, "Aha! I thought I recognized you. Of course, come in."
Is there like a chair or anything?
As you walk forward, you start to see chairs that weren't there, and it looks like there are exactly the number of chairs for the exact number of people, if you know more nor less.
Adrian looks over at Lily. He's expecting us. He knows who we are.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Well, where's 1245?
Yeah, but he knows who we are.
Of course I do. No, of course I do. You're all the talk at the moment. And he picks up a newspaper and printed across it says "Madness on the Streets of Mad City," and it has awful sketches of all 4 of you
Oh,
on it.
Hey, that's the best I've looked all day.
Who's the illustrator on this?
Seems that you all have had a run-in with local miscreant that we've been trying to deal with for quite some time, and you made the front page. Good work on all of you. Though I would say I'd prefer if you perhaps didn't damage as much property as you did on the way in. He just puts the paper on the table.
Thank you.
Do any of you look at the paper?
I take a closer look.
Yeah.
Cool. Half of the things are absolutely made up and not what you guys said happened, but the core story is there.
Do
Apparently,
we go
like
88 miles an hour?
Apparently, a solid city block is just wrecked in the escape. Not that you saw, but
Can I subtly crumple the area where our badly sketched portraits are?
you can. It makes a sound very akin to the sound of the paperboy's face. So, I'm very glad that we can have this appointment because you are exactly the people that I would like to see. As the most recent encounter with this miscreant known as Smother, I do believe that you might be the ones to help get this vile creature off of our streets and get our city back in proper order.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the. Go ahead.
We're just looking for doors.
Doors.
Doors. We were told to look for the doors to get back.
I see. Yes, you are looking for a way out, back to your back to your world, your side of the veil, your side of the fog. Well, you've come to the right place. You've come to the right place. The rotation of the doors is monitored entirely by my office.
Great.
So whenever a door opens up, we know about it.
Cool.
So is there like a departures and arrivals kind of thing going on? Like,
we simply check the schedule. We simply check the schedule, and once the doors appear and disappear, obviously, and he points, and there is a map on the wall, and you can see, like, scattered throughout the city, there's glowing dots, and occasionally one of them will blink out as another one blinks in. It's a bit of a shift. It's a bit of a shifting portus, as it were, but you are in the right place if you're looking for them to pop up. Of course, timing is everything, as you can see. They don't stick around forever, but if you're wanting to get a good sense of them, this is the place.
So is there like a waiting room where we can wait for our doors to show up, or?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as you've handled the Smother situation, you can wait here until there's a close by door and you can walk right through that.
Well, would you handle it?
Of course. You're the ones that have encountered him the most. You are the ones that made this grand entrance into our city with him on the heels. I do believe that you are the ones to be able to handle this.
No, I don't fight. We just ran away from it, really. I mean, I don't have anything to fight it with or apprehend.
Mason's your guy.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait, I just saw on the way in here there was an office of an officer Tox. Seeing that this city has a law enforcement division, wouldn't you just send him after this miscreant problem?
No, absolutely. Officer Talk is usually the person that we would send out after everything, but of course, some of his deputies and constables have been rather unsuccessful, much to my chagrin. We have had many a conversation about this to date, but not many of them have had encounters with Smother that ended with them departing from Smother. So you all have a leg up on that.
And you want to send us in? No, I don't think so.
I don't think there's much of a choice in the matter, actually. You get the impression of it. You get the impression of a big smile, even though there is no face. It just burns into your brain.
So how exactly are we supposed to apprehend this thing?
Oh, you can use your imagination. If you want to apprehend it and bring it in, that would be very fascinating. I must say, I've never seen such a thing happen before, but I'm sure Officer Talk would be very grateful for the work. If you wish to simply dispatch of this thing or send it further out of the city, that would also be ideal. The further away we can get from District 13, the better. It took that stretch of town without any paperwork, without any authorization whatsoever.
What is this guy made of?
Are you talking about Smother, or are you talking about the taxman?
Smother.
Okay, so this is a question you're asking person.
Yes.
Right. All the usual things, I imagine: failure, despair, doubt, depression. And you all suddenly reflect back on that pit in your heart the moment that he showed up.
God, no. I'm not dealing with this.
Well, well, as it stands, you've come here looking for the doors out. You made an appointment here specifically to find a way out of this city. I am happy to offer that to you. However, a job does need to be done first. Otherwise, you're free to go wander.
I feel like I say this turning to the rest of them, like, I don't think we should wander much anymore with all the weird things happening. I feel like stick to a path.
So our
Otherwise-
only options are dispatch, the smother, or
Handle him in some capacity, yes.
what? Live in this city for the rest of our.
Well, you certainly wouldn't be the first ones.
I mean, hey, maybe the rent's not bad. Maybe we got rent control here.
I mean,
Oh, I'd say at least a good third of our population are folks from across the Vale that have bought in to the city. It's a bustling population at this point. You'll see once the bazaar starts up. Though I would hope that if you wanted to get out sooner rather than later, you would go and find some other. Now, once the bazaar kicks in, doors are locked down for about an hour.
What's the bazaar?
The bazaar, it's the exchange festival that happens outside in District 13 Plaza.
When does that happen?
In about 15 minutes, and you look, it's somehow still the exact same time that it was when you were outside. You get the sense that time is a little fluid here, but operating in the same general capacity.
Mhm.
and why does everything lock down for the bazaar?
So simply the way that things have been. We don't want people smuggling goods in and out when it's our main commerce time. Things could go terribly wrong that way.
I turn to the rest of the group. No offense, but does anyone know how to fight?
Do I look like I've ever been in a fight?
No, you're welcome
With
to.
maybe a paintbrush.
I've been to.
You're
I've been
welcome to
a
talk
war-
him down.
I've been to a war zone, but I'm not a soldier.
Talk him down.
Use your imaginations. I'm not particularly hung up on the details so long as he is dealt with. If you wish to
Use
make a
your
deal with him, if you wish to
imaginations.
you wish to make a deal with him, you wish to converse with him, whatever you feel is proper.
You keep saying
Deal.
use
We've
your
already
imagination.
made one deal. We just do that.
What do
Did you make a deal with
use your
him?
imagination? No?
I mean, use your imagination. For God's sakes, man, this is the land of dreams and nightmares. Go wild. So one time I'll allow it.
So we're awake in a land of dreams and nightmares?
No, of course. How else can you explain all of this?
Wouldn't we be asleep in a land of dreams and nightmares?
Oh no, if you were asleep, you would be in your land of dreams or nightmares. Only when you are awake, and I mean awake, can you find yourself in the land of dreams and nightmares.
Awake.
Yes, and as I said, in this city, in this place, the perfect place for your imagination to run wild. In fact, I have several laws put into place that specifically state that imagination is allowed to run wild.
Really?
You've had other people, awake people, come and deal with things in your city before?
Dozens.
And what's the success rate on that? Would you
Mm.
guess?
That is a matter of debate. Some of them do wish to stay afterwards, so success becomes a matter of are you wanting to know, like, did they solve their problems? Did
Yeah,
they
that
leave?
one.
Though solving their problems, I'd say the good majority of them have so far.
Okay.
But of course, we do not always have these sort of problems. Sometimes it's simply something as simple as we need a fundraiser organized, and they are the ones to do it.
That would have been a far easier task.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of fundraiser season at the moment. We are currently, however, in the Smother is taking over a section of our town season.
Okay.
It's a rare season.
Just my luck.
Yeah. Kind of. Adrian turns to the rest. I really like to test this theory. If we can use our imaginations, there's nothing that we can't think of to take care of this thing. Anybody got an
If your
imagination?
imagination's good enough, I guess.
Can you think of something to make it appear?
I focus on my hand and try to make a fantasy sword appear.
You see like the concept of it, but it's not materializing. Adrian, how badly do you want this to happen?
I'm trying to test theory, so whether it happens or not is just it's really mute at this point.
So it doesn't matter. So you're not wanting it to succeed one way or the other. You just want to see what happens.
I just want to see if that actually turns out to be true because I'm skeptical.
Got it. Well, if you're sitting back and just watching, you get the concept of it, but it's not quite materializing for you. It doesn't seem to be working the way that it did with whatever it was that Adrian did.
And Lily just starts to like kind of just laugh at herself in a slightly maniacal way. Stupid. I'm just.
Can I do something?
Sure. What are you looking to do?
I look to everybody, and then I look to the tax man. I was like, well, thank you for your insight. I think I might have an idea on how to deal with the smother, but I just need you to excuse me for one moment. And I step out of the room and I make my way. Do I remember the way back to like the front of like the office building and everything like that?
It seems like it was a straight line, even though you're pretty sure you took a handful of turns in the way.
Okay. But I find my way back to like the outside again.
You can eventually. Are the rest of you following, or are you staying with the tax man?
I'm following Mason.
Okay.
You said we have an option of following the tax man?
No, the tax man is staying in his office, and Mason and now Lily are exiting, saying that they needed a minute. Are you following them, or are you staying here?
I think I'm gonna stay here.
Okay.
And then I think
Adrian?
if I can. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, first I need to find out what Adrian's doing.
I was gonna actually follow, but stop. So I'm not going outside, but I'm gonna stop at Officer Talk's office.
Okay, so first we're going to see what Raul's doing, and then we're going to go outside, and then we're going to come back into the middle. So, Raul, what are you doing here in the office?
I think I'll turn to the tax man, and I'm like, so you said that anything we imagine or dream of would come true here.
Well, within certain parameters, the imagination is open. Everybody manifests in their own capacities here. Otherwise, things would be running rampant, and we have to have some sense of order in here. The notion of order in Mad City rings strange to you, but you can tell this is just this man's the way that he is built. But you do remember projecting that sensation onto Smother on your way out, and you realize that like that is not a normal thing to do.
Yeah. If I can then, and then I think he just thinks about it for first time in a while. He gets a spark of motivation, and I was thinking. He thinks about his little side project that he's been working on. Essentially, a device that he was hoping to use to help kind of like a startup, right? A business plan for a startup, and trying to get the courage to, well, putting together a demonstration of it, and then getting the courage to face like a VP, someone to help fund it. And so he kind of just wants to like have a well thought out plan and see if that would something like that would work, or at least the first step of it, like a spark of an idea.
I'm going to say, based off of the talents that you have listed, trying to do it by yourself will not work. However, the more frustrated you become, the more likely it is to happen per your madness talent.
Yeah. I think he at this point kind of more just becomes dejected that it didn't work for him. He just kind of stares off and he goes, well, bound to fail here too. Like always. And he kind of just sits down at the nearest chair.
Does this notion of failure irritate you, Raul?
At this point, no. I think it's just dejection, like further confirmation of him being a failure.
Gotcha. As you sit on that, we'll move outside to Mason and Lily. Mason, Lily, you have gone outside. You notice that your party is split at the moment.
I'm gonna do something very reckless, and I'm just gonna shout "smother" at the top of my lungs, just out into the fucking, just to get its attention.
Why would you call it here?
I'm dealing with it. Smother!
This is the worst plan. The worst plan, literally.
No,
Oh my God.
I had my worst plan out there in the real world. This is slightly a little bit better, in my opinion. Smother!
And you see one by one, like people inside, like the little pinheads are just like poking out from their desk and looking at you.
Get your ass over here!
Lily, are you doing anything to stop him or aid him?
Lily is just frustrated and not wanting any part of this, so she just like sits on the stairs in front of the building and just, like hands over her knees and head down.
As you sit there, you feel a small just tug inside of your chest. And
Oh, no.
there's something in you that immediately recalls how things went before, and your sense of pattern recognition immediately kicks up.
Huh.
And you immediately remember, oh no, this is the first step. But before we get to that, Adrian, you've stopped in the middle outside of
Yes.
Officer Talk's office.
Yes.
What are you doing here?
I'm opening the door and walking in, trying to see if Officer Talk is there.
You walk in. It looks like a precinct within this one building. There are various constables, honest to God constables, walking around. As you look around, you notice the ones that have their backs turned to you. There's something peculiar. They have large wind-up keys jammed into their back that are slowly turning. And from that, the ones that are walking around, you notice very jerky motions to them as they continue to walk. One of them walks up to you with a jittery smile. You can hear the clockwork gears turning. Yes, how can I help you, citizen?
Hey, this is such a weird day. So we just spoke to your mayor, tax master, whatever his name was.
The taxman.
That guy. He's telling us to get rid of this thing that we ran away from. We barely got out of there alive. You guys, I'm assuming, have tried to take care of this. Why haven't you? And what's been the holdup?
Oh, I'm afraid that a lot of that does boil down to police confidentiality. But I will say that if you are speaking of what I think that you are speaking of, it does boil down to having a certain lack of familiarity with the entity in question. A lack of connectedness to it.
A connectiveness to it?
Yes, it is hard to understand the creature that we are dealing with, and thus it is hard for us to properly handle it.
Are you saying you can't connect to it, and I'm trying to, as a FBI agent, I'm trying to kind of find out the pattern. I'm trying to find the attention to detail here. So I'm gonna use an exhaustion talent if I can
Okay.
to
Yes,
try to
absolutely.
deduce what he's trying to say, to see if there's anything that I can pick up.
I will
As
give
a
you the I'll give you the information, and if you want more, if you want to press more information, you will need to take another exhaustion point.
Sure.
What you are gathering from this particular clockwork lieutenant is that because they do not have a way to properly connect with this entity, it is an unknown force to them. Thus, they can only there is nothing they can put back into it. They can only take from it. They can only take whatever it gives them. It could be the fact that they are similar creature, like nightmare dream creatures as it. It could be something else.
Okay. I go ahead and deduce that and gather the information that is needed. I tip my head towards them, let them know, I appreciate the information. And at this time, I'm assuming I can hear the screams that Mason's doing.
Once you step back out into the hallway, you absolutely will. And Raul, as the outside in the hall starts to quiet down, as more and more people stop and look, you can hear the scream coming from down the hall of Mason yelling out Smothers' name from out front.
Oh,
And the taxman at the desk goes, "Oh, well, that is unorthodox.
what do we do? What do we do?
You might want to go handle that."
Oh, is Adrian still in the room? Adrian left, right?
No,
He's halfway
I'm in
down
a
the hall.
different room.
Yeah. So I step out. I rush out to see where that.
Rushing out, you'll encounter Adrian, who is also, you're now hearing these words.
Time to go.
Shit.
And the four of you convene out on the steps of the taxman's office, with Mason yelling Smothers' name out into the open air. One by one, you each feel that small tugging feeling in your hearts.
So
Weirdly
if I want,
enough, I think you're on the right track.
All right. Okay. Well, where do we go next? What do we do?
Adrian, do you share your deduction with the others?
No.
Okay. Proceed then.
So has me shouting smother got it's all like, do I feel anything from the city or any of that rumbling that from earlier as I try to
Not yet.
draw it out?
Not yet, but you do feel that tugging in your heart, which you felt shortly before it showed up.
Gotcha. I turn to everyone else now that everyone's gathered, and there's a bit of a pause, and then Mason says, I think I know what they mean by being awake now.
Do tell.
I know what smother is. I think I have an idea of what smother is. Not in like the literal sense, but more like I've been running away from this feeling for a long time. And if I don't face it head on, I'm going to keep running for it forever until it kills me. So if there's any time I'm going to deal with it, I think now's better than ever.
Adrian, this enforces your deduction from earlier.
I grab Mason's shoulder.
It's wet.
Still wet, dude.
Yeah, I know.
And I let him know you're not alone. And I think I know what we need to do. And I grab his shoulder. You're not doing this by yourself anymore.
No, I have to do this by myself, because if I don't want any of you getting hurt from this. Like, I'll go deal with it, and you go find the door, and you guys all go home. All right.
They said something inside that really makes sense. Now I'm going to tell you, you're not the only one running away from something. We need to do this. We're going to do this together.
If we're not ready,
There's never a time that you will be ready.
can you know that for sure?
Have you been ready before?
And you just see like that you hit something a little too hard and her face just falls.
Stronger together, we can stand up to it.
And then, as soon as you say that, I think Rahul kind of just, his sensation that he felt earlier about when he attempted to find the idea and it didn't work out. Can I feel, I would like, he's been constantly trying to, in the meantime, subconsciously reach back for that, see if it can happen. And in this moment, would this allow him to have a bit more of that connection that he was hoping for? Or
You're getting a connection in the sense of, like, you're trying to get a well thought out plan, and you're seeing your want for a well thought out plan materialize in this conversation that is happening. The conclusions that people are reaching, they're resonating with you. And the more that you all talk about it, you all notice that you feel your hearts a little lighter, a little less constrained. It's still there, but it's as if the grip has gone a slightly slack. You start to hear that rumble from outside of District 13.
Comes. I turn in the direction of the rumbling.
I think you're right. I think we've kind of all been needing some sort of affirmation, some sort of, I guess, almost something to bounce ideas off of, bounce our whatever we're feeling off of. And if that's what it takes to get us out of here, then maybe if there's anything I can do.
It feeds and gives us something. Logic states it could be two ways. We could send something back. I'd like to use my madness talent for fight. And I would like to use that talent to kind of give hope in the sense of magic and imagination that helped me materialize in the car. And when I saw the badge materialize ahead of me and seeing Mason turn the car on and all of this stuff and give them that same exact power as seeing Lily fail earlier with the sword, but now give them that ability to materialize what they need.
It's not going to work quite like that, but it is going to work to some degree once you make this roll. Please make your discipline roll and add any exhaustion dice that you might have, and add 4 madness dice.
Okay, so
While he's making this roll, Lily, you're hearing this and you're still uncertain. Are these words cutting through? Are they resonating?
The failure of having not materialized the sword earlier is really putting into her self confidence and making her feel like she doesn't know what like how she can be helpful in this situation. So she's going to start listening a little bit closer to those voices.
Also, make me your discipline roll and add as many madness dice as you would like. Just tell me how many.
I'm gonna go with 5.
Okay. Adrian, we'll get yours in just a minute. I want to resolve this, and then we'll get yours just for sequencing.
I have 5 successes.
What is your highest dice in? Is it in madness or discipline?
They were all 5s, and 1 in discipline and 2 in madness.
Okay. You can remove a check from either fight or flight. I am assuming it will probably be fight, given what you were about to, given the
Yes.
circumstance. But I make that choice for you.
Unchecking my last one for fight.
You still have one in flight, though?
Yes.
You're fine.
Okay.
You sit and listen, and you're hearing a lot of what you were being told before about giving things back to it, facing things on your own. And then you start to hear more voices. And it seems as if they're coming from the direction of the rumbling. And they're voices of sadness, voices of lament, voices of disdain, lacking, self-doubt. And within those voices, you can hear a yearning, a want to get through that, to not be smothered by that. And there's a voice somewhere deep inside of you that tells you that if you're going to do anything right, it's going to be this. If you're going to do anything exactly the way it has to be done, it's going to be this. And you get the sense that what you've been hearing so far is correct. You do have to give something back to it. You have to give it not what it wants, but what it needs. You know this for a fact. It scares you that you know this, but you do know it. And you do know that you have to do this. Adrian, what did you get?
1s and 2s are successes. Everything else is a failure, right?
1, 2, and 3 is a success.
Okay, so hold on. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes and 1 failure, and the failure is the exhaustion die.
Great, you're going to go up 1 more exhaustion.
Okay.
You watch Adrian just become like more visibly tired, and it seems like everything gets like sort of a golden yellow glow around all of you. The air feels a little bit lighter. You swear you hear a brass band playing in the most cheesy Hollywood inspirational moment that you could possibly imagine. It's hokey as all get out, but for some reason it hits exactly in the right spot. And while it may not give that sense of changing the scene the way that Adrian has, you all feel that same level of I can do this, I can make a difference, inspiration that Adrian had back in the car as you buy into this bandstand moment.
Are they playing Eye of the Tiger?
I thought it was Limp Bizkit,
Yes.
but like it's just one of those days, but like with a positive,
Also,
leitmotif.
yes.
Yeah.
The rumbling grows louder, and you start to see hands coming from around the buildings on the outskirts of the plaza.
I guess it's now or never.
Looking behind you, you see the many bureaucratic pinheads just all poking their heads out, none of them moving, not retreating, not rushing into the fray. Frozen watching as the amorphous blob that is Smother pours its way out into the plaza, rolling forward, hands clambering as it gets closer and closer to you. It's within 15 feet of you.
I'm going
It's
to
within 10
step
feet
up
of
to
you.
meet it.
It's within 5 feet of you.
You hear Mr. Blue Sky when the camera cuts to me as I like materialize a sword in one hand.
It raises up over all four of you. I'm going to give each of you a moment to describe to me what you do in this moment before Smother comes crashing down on you. Adrian, since you spoke last with your sword, we'll start with you. What do you do, and what does it mean to you to do it?
So Adrian materializes this sword in hopes and aspirations to make it look just like what Lily was trying to materialize in her hand, to give her some inspiration, to let her know that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And grabs a sword and like somehow like super jumps to like meet the monster halfway and just pulls down his tie and tries to jab wherever he can this sword. And as the sword gets close, it like radiates. So it radiates like all of his fears, his anguish, everything is poured into this now. And as he's coming down, he yells, "Take him out!" And he just jams the sword straight into him.
Lily, what do you do in this moment, and what does it mean to you?
As the amorphous creature kind of starts to darken over her, she closes her eyes and tries to feel every sensation that she can around that's coming from the creature. Um, she is opening her mind, her ears, and her senses to it, trying to suss out what it is that it wants or needs in this moment, and softly just saying, I can feel it all, and we're here with you, part of you. I know this is coming from us and from you. Show us what you need.
Raoul, what do you do in this moment, and what does it mean to you?
I think in this moment, he sees this creature and it just, something kind of clicks in his brain for a bit. And it's all of these walls in his brain that he's built up over the years about him, not being good enough, not being smart enough, not being motivated enough. The lethargy, the anguish, the frustration that's been built up about himself. Also just all the misconceptions he's had about his world around him, about the four walls that he's been stuck in, the darkness that he's staying in on his own effort. Like up till this point, it felt like he kind of was like, this is just how it is. This is my life. This is how I am. This is just what my life is like. But then realizing that just like how he tried to turn on the switch and was brought into this world that he was in, it was simply as simple as that, to break through those walls and then just turn on the lights. Simple step. And so he kind of envisions that wall being broken as this creature approaches, like as if though instead of hitting him, hitting the wall instead of hitting the people around him, hitting that wall and kind of just at least cracking it or breaking it in some way. Almost as a metaphor, as him trying to break through his own walls that he has built up inside of himself.
Mason, what do you do in this moment, and what does it mean to you?
You said Smother had a bunch of faces on it, right?
Yes,
I find the one that looks like mine, if there's any.
there is, in fact.
And echoing the scene of Mason looking at himself in the mirror at the start of the session, this time he talks to Smother directly as if he were talking to himself, but this time he's not lying like he was earlier today. He says, and instead he kind of just like walks in slow-mo towards it while everybody else is dealing with Smother in their own fashion. Adrian jumping up and Rahul and Lily having their little internal monologues. And Mason says, I know what you are. I know who you are. You're the mistakes I made. You're the friends I've lost. You were my shadow. And I cannot live in the light without you following behind me. But that doesn't change the fact I accept who you are. It might take some time. But just because I put the bombs there doesn't mean I can't dismantle them too. And I kind of like reach up and touch the face. And I put my forehead to it.
This wave rises and crashes down on all four of you, and you feel the pressure, the suffocating pressure. You feel the weight, not just on your bodies, but deep in your cores, deep inside of your heart. You feel that sinking feeling. Everything is dark for a moment, and then everything is light. You see the plaza around you. You each feel a weight on you. And as you look, on the ground around you, splattered, is this inky ichor. And rested up against each of you is a humanoid figure, just as black, just as dripping, just as sagging, leaned into you. And they look to you with your own faces. There is a sadness there. But there's also relief as each of you embraced or defied what it had to give to you. You gave back in your own way. And you see that moment of relief as these four entities also slough off of you. And you watch the ink suck its way into the cracks and crevices of the concrete. And the plaza goes quiet. Then one by one, you hear and see clicking sound. Across the plaza, a door swings open. In the middle of a plaza, from the ground, a door swings up. From behind you, a door next to the door to the taxman's office, to the building, swings open. The door to the clock tower swings open, all four of them with a sunshine of light radiating through.
Are are these the doors that we were looking for?
Think so.
A lot of doors.
I try and look for the one that is the most similar to the one I saw in my painting.
You feel drawn to one of the doors. As you go to look, it becomes less about visual and more about feeling as you feel that pull back. Each of you feel a pull towards a different door.
This moment, Adrian stops and realizes something. You don't know each other's names.
That's correct. Do you ask each other's names, though, is the question.
Lily, as she finds her door, she stops before like getting to it and looks back at each of them. I'm Lily, by the way.
Adrian. What?
Mason.
You see Raul like hesitate to say his name, almost like back to where he was, where he felt unworthy to say it, and then finally like cracks through. Raul.
You guys got Facebook?
I've got an Instagram. I don't have many followers, but
I think I'll find you guys on the other side. Don't worry. I frankly, if it weren't for running into the three of you over here, I wouldn't have learned that existing is not living. I'll say that much. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll find you guys.
We'll find each other again.
For sure.
Yeah.
I hope so.
One by one, you step through your doors before the clock strikes 13. And the doors to Mad City close behind you, returning you to this city slumbering, the world that you know. You know that now there's more to it than just this. You feel that just as certain as you are that you can find each other, should you ever want to, you could find your way back. Just as a matter of what cost. But the option's there. Should you ever take it again? This is where we end our story of Don't Rest Your Head, A Heavy Heart. I'd like to thank all four of you so very much for embarking on this story with me. For the audience, I'd like to thank you all out there for tuning in, donating. Please do continue to donate. It's for a cause that rings very true in the nature of the story here. I'd like to go around one by one and let everybody tell you who they are, where you can find them, what they're up to, promote your hearts out. Adrian, we'll start with you. North, go for it.
Oh, okay. Oh, hi. My name is Northwolf 911. I am from Northwolf 911 Gaming or Northwolf 911 on all socials. You can find me here live on Twitch on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am playing all types of ttrpgs as your game master or dungeon master, depending on what game we're playing. Currently, we have two series going on. We have The Walking Dead, Episode 3, which is going to be starting at the end of this month for the 28th. We're going to be doing Episode 3, and Episode 4 is going to be following that following week. Then we're going to go into Candela Obscura, which I'm really excited about. Cough, cough, KP. I got to sign up with you and take some amazing pictures. By the way, if you guys don't know, you need to go do the thing. PAX East. I will be there on next week on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you'll find me there. You'll also find me on Gen Con this year as well, doing a world building, hopefully, panel. And we still need to get those emails approved. And we got some other games that I'm going to be running as well. So if you're interested in playing at my table, feel free to reach out to me at any time on any of my socials. I'll be more than happy to bring you on board because I am hosting it to a wide variety of people. So that is me.
Wonderful. And now, Lily, Monica, tell us about you, where we can find you.
Hi, everybody. I've been Monica playing Lily. You can find me at MonicaM_art on Twitter and Instagram and across various other social medias. I'm an illustrator by day. You can find my works in things such as Kids on Bikes, Darrington Press's Guardians of Matrimonia, a bunch of other little illustrations here and there, and other All the Witches, I think, was another recent one. I also have my first graphic novel is out. Doña Quixote: Rise of the Night came out this past September, so check out that if you're looking for graphic novels. The sequel coming out in this coming September. What else? Oh, and you can find me here at Vancouver by Night playing the lovely Sophia Toreador on the New Blood series. So come back. Yeah.
Outstanding. And now Mason, Jerry, tell us about you. Where can we find you?
What's up, gang? It's me, Jerry Law. You can find me at my Jerry Amour, Amour, on Instagram and Twitter. As far as projects go, we just wrapped a 10 episode long actual play of Beam Saber over at Queen's Court's game. It's called Mekong. It's based on a setting that I wrote based on Southeast Asian mythology. It's a space opera. It's got mechs. It's got fighting. It's super cool. You should check it out. So yeah, you can find that on the Queen's Court Games YouTube channel. All 10 episodes are out. Otherwise, I'm just hanging out. You and yeah, come say what's up.
And now Raul, KP, tell us about you. Where can we find you? What are you up to?
First and foremost, I want to just thank you guys. This was so much fun. I appreciate how difficult it is sometimes in a game like this to open up and play vulnerable characters. It's not easy. And I feel like when we do create such characters, we put a little of ourselves into it, and maybe some things we're kind of going through perhaps. So just want to say thank you for opening up, and hopefully whatever we're all dealing with and whatever you guys out there are dealing with, we are able to process and find comfort and support that we need to help us get through it. You can find me. My name is KP. You can find me as KP11 Studios on all your social media. I am a photographer. I'm a cultural consultant, voice actor, creator, performer. A lot of things. Most of them, all right. And but yeah, as Northwolf mentioned, big things coming up. I'll be at PAX East, so if you're out there, do come say hi. Most of the weekend I'll be doing photo shoots. So if you have seen any of my photography work and like it, this is a great time. If you're going to be at PAX East, I'll be doing headshot photography. I also have 3 tiers where it's headshot, some that are called like fine art, really nice looking ones, something that's a little more elevated as well if you're looking for something a little pizzazzy, or if you're looking for just go balls to the walls. I do a composite work, so if you're looking for that really like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be I'm excited to work with you. So I'll be doing that. I'll be on a panel for how to do networking in our space, how to connect with folks. If that's ever been a mystery to you, still kind of a mystery sometimes to me, I do my best nonetheless. And I get somehow magically the opportunities to be able to connect with wonderful folks like these that I get to play with and do all sorts of stuff. So not just me, other fantastic folk are on that panel as well. So if not from me, at least they might have great insight. So do come by and say hi, and hopefully we can help you connect with more folks. Outside of that, the project I can announce that just released, I'm part of a show called Legacy of Worlds, which is airing on Six Sides of Gaming every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 5 p.m. Pacific. And it is probably one of the most ambitious projects I've been ever part of. If you are familiar with people like Luke Gygax, son of Gary Gygax, Ed Greenwood, creator of Forgotten Realms. You have Keith Baker, who's the creator of Eberron, as well as Elisa Teague, who is a fantastic creator in her own right, all coming together in famous characters that either they helped create or are scions of various worlds in D&D, all coming together trying to save the world, and me and a couple other guests join along the way. And so if that seems interesting to you, if you want to see these icons playing, it'll be airing every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So come check that out. More projects coming. Just follow me so that way you can stay alert and check it out.
Thank you. Please do follow all 4 of these individuals with their various endeavors across the internet. I am Zachary Vaudo. I've been your game master. You can find me on Twitter at YepItZach, Blue Sky, and Spotify as SneakerNet. I make electronic music for myself and also theme music for various actual plays all around the internet. I've made some for North. I've made some here on Vancouver by Night. I've made some on a variety of other channels. I am also the lore master for ATL by Night. Vampire Chronicle has been running since 2020. We're on hiatus at the moment, but we will be back. I'm also part of an entirely homebrewed D&D campaign on Luck and Chaos, called Luck and Chaos on the Hype Goblin on Thursdays. You can also find me at PAX. I will be running games with Gehenna Gaming the entire weekend, mostly Vampire the Masquerade, but I'm also running an Eldritch Autonoma epic on Friday, I believe it is. You can check your schedules for that. More mechs, more horrors. It's a lot of fun. Beyond that, follow me online to find out what I'm up to. I am wherever tabletop games are played. Thank you all again so much. Thank you to Vancouver by Night for hosting this. Thank you all out there for donating to take this. We do hope that you will. And remember, it doesn't have to be in your dreams that you can face these problems that you're dealing with. You can do them just out here, just fine. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.
You.